Okay, so it's time to take a break. And if you are a YouTube content creator, then you pretty much know what I'm talking about. And so if you are like me, who's been creating YouTube videos for many years now, and I've created more than 1,000 videos, well, at times you're gonna need a break because burnout is definitely something that's real and it can affect you in many different ways. And so on today's video, I'm not going to be scripting anything. It's just going to be like me talking and playing games, you could probably tell. And so what do I mean by taking a break? Well, taking a break can come in many different forms. So I think for most people, taking a break means they're just not creating, and they're truly taking a complete break from YouTube, which is what I think is probably the best way for most people. Because as with anything, you might need to get away from it, not think about it, not do anything. That really helps to help your mind relax and focus on other things, or even beyond that, just real life. People have other things that they need to do. You have other responsibilities, other passions and hobbies, other relationships, and it's very important, obviously, for you to focus on those things. And so that is probably the most popular way to do it. But at least for me, when I think about taking a break, I see it differently because I absolutely, love doing YouTube. That is the first thing. I'm constantly thinking about different ways to create, different ideas, and this is something that is really a part of my daily life. As for some creators, I think they'll definitely understand that. Does that mean it's probably not a healthy thing? Yeah, maybe it's not. But I think also if you are a long-time YouTube creator, then you're probably kind of a little bit crazy anyway because you're constantly thinking about doing this. Okay, and so in that case, at least what I do, whenever I take a break from doing YouTube, it's not necessarily not creating. And so what I do is I focus on the things that I enjoy. So I absolutely love playing video games. So if you've been a long time fan of my channel, you know that I have a lot of video game content, and I even have a video game playlist. And so I've been playing video games ever since I was a kid. And because of this for me is taking a break. This is something that I enjoy doing. It's a hobby, it's a passion, it's something that I'm pretty much always going to enjoy doing is playing video games. So because of that, I play video games when I need to take a break. But because I'm also a YouTube content creator, well, I could actually use that to my advantage. And so whenever I take a break or anything that I'm doing when it comes to a creative process, I'm always thinking like, what is a win-win situation? When I mean by win-win-win situation, is a triple win. It's a number of things. The first thing is it's something that I absolutely enjoy doing, okay, or at least something that I don't hate doing. And so video games definitely fits that. The second thing is this is something that will actually help my audience or entertain them in some way. So whenever I finish creating this content, it might not get the most views, but there'll be people here who will get something out of it. So in this case, they'll probably get some entertainment value and maybe even learn a little bit something. And then the final thing is, well, you can potentially make money off of this content. Okay, so that is also another huge value benefit because in this case, I think everybody wins. I win as a creator, as a person, because I'm doing something that I absolutely enjoy doing. This is a break for me. It is fun. And so I would do this anyway. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is it's also creating content for my community or anybody else who might enjoy the same type of things that I do. And that's the whole point of being a creator anyway, because you are, at the end of the day, creating content for other people. And obviously the YouTube algorithm plays a big part in that, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But at the end of the day, you are creating content for other people to enjoy. And then the last thing is obviously you can also make money from this. And so if you are somebody who is doing YouTube content creation beyond just simply a hobby, then obviously you want to continue doing this. And the best way is to actually make money from your content, grow your brand. All of those things are very, very important important. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the other aspect that I think is very important from a YouTube creator standpoint. And it's this whole idea of the YouTube algorithm. Now, I did create a recent video on how the YouTube algorithm is your boss. And so if you have not seen that video, I will leave it in the description area below. And at least now in 2021 and for many years now, the YouTube algorithm plays a huge part in the type of content that most creators will end up creating. And the reason being is if you do not really take into consideration what the YouTube algorithm wants, more than likely your content is not going to be seen, you're not going to get views, you're not going to get subscribers, your channel is not going to grow. And if you're thinking of doing YouTube or anything else on a platform or other internet platforms where you want to be a creator and you actually want to do this full time, or at least a majority of your time, you're going to have to make money out of it. And obviously, if you're not getting views, your channel is not growing, it's going to be hard for you to make any money, whether it's simply from Google AdSense, just for views, or if you're going to be growing a brand and a business from it. You definitely need some type of traffic to get to your service, business, channel, whatever the case might be. And so that's why a lot of people, even more now than ever, they're really focused on making content that is going to really serve the algorithm. And even though that's definitely something that I think every creator has to consider, the drawback of that is you're no longer creating content that I would say is a win-win-win, because now you're most likely not going to be creating the type of content that you enjoy. You're more often than not creating the type of content that the YouTube algorithm wants. Okay, and that's the first thing. And then the second thing is the content for your audience and community. That is, I think, the most important besides creating things that you enjoy. Because at the end of the day, if people, resonate with your content, that's awesome. But if you're creating content that's primarily suited for the algorithm, even though the audience might not like it, you're probably not going to continue creating this type of content because you're not creating it for yourself. You're creating it for a machine. And at the end of the day, that's going to show. And I think for most creators, you're going to get burnt out way more. And that's why a lot of creators, after a certain point, even if they have a lot of growth on their channel, you see that some creators just completely take a break. And sometimes it's a permanent break where they're not creating content at all because they're not getting the first part of it, creating content that truly resonates with them, that they enjoy. And at the same time, they also have an audience that enjoys the type of content that create. And of course, every now and then they get to create content that's really just about them, the things that they like, versus constantly churning out content that's going to be for the algorithm. And so that's really the whole point of this video, because if you are just starting out as a creator, just really don't forget why you became a creator in the first place. And I know it's really hard to, not think about the algorithm, because at the end of the day, this platform is not controlled by you. It is controlled by YouTube, Google, and their algorithm. So definitely that is something that you have to consider. But also take a more long-term approach. If you are going to be a creator for the long term, then in my opinion, I would highly recommend that you, focus on the type of content that you enjoy for yourself and that you can continue doing, and definitely focus on the type of content that your audience in the end will enjoy. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. And that's a really hard thing to do, and I can't tell you exactly that it's going to work for you going this way, but at least for me, by taking the approach of, what is something I'm going to enjoy and what's going to really resonate with the audience that I've built here, I think that's more important, because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying what you're doing and you're only doing it for, the algorithm, or in this case, you're really doing it for the money, then it's really going to be hard whenever the time comes when the money's not coming in, when the algorithm's no longer recommending your content. Are you still going to be creating the type of content that the algorithm likes at that time, because the algorithm is constantly changing, or are you going to continue creating regardless of that? And so that's really a tough decision. I don't really have an easy answer for that. But if you ever run into that situation, I highly recommend that you take a break, do something that you enjoy, and don't really worry so much about the algorithm, or scripting things or planning things out. Sometimes you just need to, like, be you, and create the type of content that really you enjoy, going back to why you did this in the first place. And then obviously over time, just improve that, and that's the best thing that I could say. And it'll help you not only, stay motivated in doing this, but it'll also help you, release all your creative energy that you have. The reason why you started doing YouTube, the reason why people who are part of your community, who are really fans of it, are still around. And I think that's the most important thing, because that goes back to my whole idea of a win-win-win situation. And as always, I do definitely want to thank all of you that actually come to my channel, watch my long rants sometimes, just nonsense, but at the same time, also get some of the enjoyment that I do, doing these type of things. And the other thing that I would like to say is, from a creative standpoint, if you are a creator who, like, sometimes wonder, like, what type of content to create, sometimes you maybe should not really think about that. If there's something you really enjoy, just create content from it. You're gonna do it anyway, so why not? Another good example is, I really love movies, and so I created a movie channel as well. So if I'm gonna watch movies or shows, things that I would enjoy anyway, I go ahead and make content out of it, because that is gonna be a creative process for me. But at the same time, I get to share the things that I enjoy, and of course, finally, you could actually make some money out of it. So that's the win-win-win thing that I really talk about quite a bit on my previous videos, and here as well. So that is today's episode on taking a break, and how I really feel that it is important for you to take a break, but also taking a break could mean different things. And at least in my opinion, I highly recommend that you look at taking a break while still being creative with the things that you enjoy. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my YouTube tutorials and tips, I do have an entire playlist, and I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.